is today is 59. It's day 59. Like I said last time, when was the last time you did something 59 times in a row? Yeah, other than this, bro, I couldn't tell you. But it's day 59. We're 59 days into our 1 year Bible reading. Almost at 60. Almost 60 days in. Almost pretty much borderline 2 months into reading every single day. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. If you ask me, it's pretty cool. If you ask me, we're on day 28 of February, so we're technically on the last day of February in our reading. Hey, what's up, Jamie? We're the last day of February in our reading, so this is the end of Black History Month. I'm just joking. It's only 26 in real life, but we started 2 days early, so we're gonna finish 2 days early. So, without further ado, let's get into our chapters for tonight. So we got Leviticus 22:17 to 23, ending on verse 44. A little bit. That's a little chunk of reading right there. Then we got Mark 9:30 through 10, ending on verse 12. Then Psalms 44, 1 through 8, and Proverbs 10:19. Hey, how you doing? How's your day been going so far? It's the middle of the week. It's hump day. How y'all doing? How y'all get over the hump today? You feel me? And without any more delays or sidebar conversation, it is day 59. It's time to get into our read for tonight, starting with Leviticus 22:17 to 23, ending on verse 44. And the Lord said to Moses, give Aaron and his sons and all the Israelites these instructions. I'm glad you're having a good day, bro. Which apply to both native Israelites and to the foreigners living among you. If you present a gift as a burnt offering to the Lord, whether it is to fulfill a vow or it's a voluntary offering, you will be accepted only if your offering is a male animal with no defects. It may be a bull. That's cool. I hated it. Oh, man. I kind of remember those days. kind of. Fulfill a vow, voluntary offering. You're accepted only if it offers a male animal with no defects. It may be a bull, a ram, or a male goat. Do not present an animal with defects, because the Lord will not accept it on your behalf. If you present a peace offering to the Lord from the herd of the flock, whether it is to fulfill a vow or a voluntary offering, you must offer a perfect animal, godly. It may have no defect of any kind. You must not offer an animal that is blind, crippled, or injured, or that has a wart, a skin sore, or scabs. Such animals must never be offered on the altar as special gifts to the Lord. If a bull or lamb has a leg that is too long or too short, it may be offered as a voluntary offering, but it may not be offered to fulfill a vow. If an animal has damaged testicles or is castrated, you may not offer it to the Lord. You must never do this in your own land, and you must not accept such an animal from foreigners and then offer it as a sacrifice to your God. Such animals will not be accepted on your behalf, for they are mutilated or defective. And the Lord said to Moses, when a calf or lamb or goat is born, it must be left with its mother for 7 days. From the 8th day on, it will be acceptable as a special gift to the Lord. But you must not slaughter a mother animal and her offspring on the same day, whether from the herd or the flock. When you bring a Thanksgiving offering to the Lord, sacrifice it properly so you will be accepted. Eat the entire sacrificial animal on the day it is presented. Do not leave any of it until the next morning. I am the Lord. Hey, what's up, food? Hey, what's up, food? I think I remember you because I think your name was pretty cool. Hey, how you doing today? And don't forget, chat, to drop likes on the stream and subscribe if you want to. Today is day 59 of our 1 year Bible reading, and I hope you're enjoying. You must faithfully keep all my commands by putting them into practice. For I am the Lord. Do not bring shame on my holy name, for I will display my holiness among the people of Israel. I am the Lord who makes you holy. It was I who rescued you from the land of Egypt, that I might be your God. I am the Lord. The Lord said to Moses, give your following instructions to the people of Israel. These are the Lord's appointed festivals, which you are to proclaim as official days for holy assembly. You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work, but the 7th day is a Sabbath day of complete rest, an official day for holy assembly. It is the Lord's Sabbath day, and it must be observed wherever you live. In addition to the Sabbath, these are the Lord's appointed festivals, the official days for the holy assembly that are to be celebrated at their proper times each year. The Lord's Passover begins at sundown on the 14th day of the first month. On the next day, the 15th day of the month, you must begin celebrating the festival of unleavened bread. This festival to the Lord continues for 7 days, and during the times, the bread you eat must be made without yeast. On the first day of the festival, all the people must stop their ordinary work and observe an official day for holy assembly. For 7 days, you must present special gifts to the Lord. On the seventh day, the people must again stop all their ordinary work to observe an official day for Holy Assembly. Then the Lord said to Moses, give the following instructions to the people of Israel. When you enter the land I am giving you, and you harvest its first crops, bring the priest a bundle of grain from the first cutting of your grain harvest. On the day after the Sabbath, the priest will lift it up before the Lord, so it may be accepted on your behalf. On that same day, you must sacrifice a 1-year-old male lamb with no defects as a burnt offering to the Lord. With it, you must present a grain offering consisting of 4 quarts of choice flour moistened with olive oil. It will be a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. You must also offer 1 quart of wine as a liquid offering. Do not eat any bread or roasted grain or fresh kernels on that day until you bring this offering to your God. This is a permanent law for you, and it must be observed from generation to generation wherever you live. From the day after the Sabbath, the day you bring the bundle of grain to be lifted up as a special offering, count off 7 full weeks. Keep counting until the day after the 7th Sabbath, 50 days later. Then present an offering of new grain to the Lord. From wherever you live, bring 2 loaves of bread to be lifted up before the Lord as a special offering. Make these loaves from 4 quarts of choice flour and bake them with yeast. They will be an offering to the Lord from the first of your crops. Along with the bread, present 7 1-year-old lambs with no defects, 1 young bull, and 2 rams as a burnt offering to the Lord. These burnt offerings, together with the grain offerings and liquid offerings, will be a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. Then you must offer 1 male goat as a sin offering and 2 1-year-old male lambs as a peace offering. The priest will lift up the 2 lambs as a special offering to the Lord, together the loaves representing the first of your crops. These offerings, which are holy to the Lord, belong to the priest. That same day will be proclaimed at an official day for Holy Assembly, a day on which you do no ordinary work. This is a permanent law for you, and it must be observed from generation to generation wherever you live. When you harvest the crops of your land, do not harvest the grain along the edges of your fields, and do not pick up what the harvesters drop. Leave it for the poor and the foreigners living among you. I am the Lord your God. The Lord said to Moses, give the following instructions to the people of Israel. On the first day of the appointed month in the early autumn, you are to observe a day of complete rest. It will be an official day of Holy Assembly, a day commemorated with loud blast of a trumpet. You must do no ordinary work on that day. Instead, you are to present special gifts to the Lord. Then the Lord said to Moses, be careful to celebrate the Day of Atonement on the 10th day of the same month, 9 days after the Festival of Trumpets. You must observe it as an official day for Holy Assembly, a day to deny yourselves, and present special gifts to the Lord. Do no work until the entire day, during the entire day, because it is the Day of Atonement, when offerings of purification are made for you, making you right with the Lord, your God. All who do not deny themselves, that day will be cut off from God's people. And I will destroy anyone among you who does any work on that day. You must not do any work at all. This is a permanent law for you, and it must be observed from generation to generation, wherever you live. This will be a Sabbath day of complete rest for you, and on that day you must deny yourselves. This day of rest will begin at sundown on the 9th day of the month, and extend until sundown of the 10th day. And the Lord said to Moses, give the following instructions to the people of Israel. Begin celebrating the festival of shelters on the 15th day of the appointed month, 5 days after the Day of Atonement. This festival to the Lord will last for 7 days. On the first day of the festival, you must proclaim an official day for Holy Assembly. When you do no ordinary work for 7 days, you must present special gifts to the Lord. The 8th day is another holy day on which you present your special gifts to the Lord. This will be a solemn occasion, and no ordinary work may be done on that day. These are the Lord's appointed festivals. Celebrate them each year as official days for a holy assembly by presenting special gifts to the Lord. Burnt offerings, grain offerings, sacrifices, and liquid offerings, each on its proper day. These festivals must be observed in addition to the Lord's regular Sabbath days, and the offerings are in addition to your personal gifts, the offerings you give to fulfill their vows, and the voluntary offerings you present to the Lord. Remember that this 7-day festival to the Lord, the festival of shelters, begins on the 15th day of the appointed month, after you have harvested all the produce of their land. The first day and the 8th day of the festival will be days of complete rest. On the first day, gather branches from magnificent trees, palm fronds, boughs from leafy trees, and willows that grow by the streams. Then celebrate with joy before the Lord your God for 7 days. You must observe this. Oop. How many points? I'm sorry, I wasn't there. Can you say it again? I got you. You should be at 92, Jamie. You've been pretty consistent here recently. Festival to the Lord for 7 days every year. This is a permanent law for you, and it must be observed in an appointed month, from generation to generation. For 7 days you must live outside in little shelters. All native-born Israelites must live in shelters. This will remind each new generation of Israelites that I made their ancestors live in shelters when I rescued them from the land of Egypt. I am the Lord, your God. So Moses gave the Israelites these instructions regarding the annual festivals of the Lord. And that is the end of our reading today from Leviticus 22:17 to 23, ending on verse 44. And now we're going to hop into Mark 9:30 through 10, ending on verse 12. So, leaving that region, they traveled through Galilee. Jesus didn't want anyone to know he was there, for he wanted to spend more time with his disciples and teach them. He said to them, the Son of Man is going to be betrayed into the hands of his enemies. He will be killed, but 3 days later, he will rise from the dead. They didn't understand what he was saying, however, and they were afraid to ask him what he meant. After they arrived at Capernaum and settled in the house, Jesus asked his disciples, what were you discussing on the road? But they didn't answer because they had been arguing about which of them was the greatest. He sat down, called the 12 disciples over to him and said, whoever wants to be first must take last place and be the servant of everyone else. Then he put a little child among them. Taking the child in his arms, he said to them, anyone who becomes a little child like this on my behalf welcomes me. And anyone who welcomes me welcomes not only me, but also my Father who sent me. John said to Jesus, Teacher, we saw someone using your name to cast out demons, but we told him to stop because he wasn't in our group. Don't stop him, Jesus said. No one who performs a miracle in my name will soon be able to speak evil of me. Anyone who is not against us is for us. If anyone gives you even a cup of water because you belong to the Messiah, I tell you the truth, that person will surely be rewarded. But if you cause one of these little ones who trust in me to fall into sin, it will be better for you to be thrown into the sea with a large millstone hung around your neck. If your hand causes you to sin, cut it off. It's better to enter eternal life with only one hand than to go into unquenchable fires of hell with two hands. If your foot causes you to sin, cut it off. It's better to enter eternal life with only one foot than to be thrown into hell with 2 feet. And if your eye causes you to sin, gouge it out. It's better to enter the kingdom with only one eye than to have 2 eyes and be thrown into hell, where the maggots never die and the fire never goes out. For everyone will be tested with fire. Salt is good for seasoning, but if it loses its flavor, how do you make it salty again? You must have the qualities of salt among yourselves and live in peace with each other. Then Jesus left Capernaum and went down to the region of Judea and into the area east of the Jordan River. Once again, crowds gathered around him, and as usual, he was teaching them. Some Pharisees came and tried to trap him with this question: should a man be allowed to divorce his wife? Jesus answered them with a question. What did Moses say in the law about divorce? Well, he permitted it, they replied. He said a man can give his wife a written notice of divorce and send her away. But Jesus responded, he wrote this commandment only as a concession to your hard hearts, but God made them male and female from the beginning of creation. This explains why a man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife, and the two are united into one. Since they are no longer two but one, let no one split apart what God has joined together. Later, when he was alone with his disciples in the house, they brought up the subject again. He told them, whoever divorces his wife and marries someone else commits adultery against her. And if a woman divorces her husband and marries someone else, she commits adultery. Tough. All right, now we're going to get into Psalms 44, 1 through 8. O God, we have heard it with our own ears. Our ancestors have told us. All of you did in their day. In days long ago, you drove out the pagan nations by your power and gave all the land to your ancestors. You crushed their enemies and set our ancestors free. They did not conquer the land with their swords. It was not by their strong arm that gave them victory. It was your right hand and strong arm and the blinding light from your face that helped them, for you loved them. You are my king and my God. You command victories for Israel. Only by your power can we push back our enemies. Only your name can we trample our foes. I do not trust in my bow. I do not count on my sword to save me. You are the one who gives us victory over our enemies. You disgrace those who hate us. Oh God, we give glory to you all day long and constantly praise your name. And now to wrap up, Proverbs 10:19. Too much talk leads to sin, but sensible Be sensible and keep your mouth shut. Too much talk leads to sin. Be sensible and keep your mouth shut. And our excerpt for the end of the day. You see it? You see it? Have you truly felt your mother? Have you truly left? Felt is crazy. Have you truly left your mother? When it comes to marriage, Jesus confirmed the teachings from Genesis. To start a new relationship right, a man must sever former ties, leaving our mothers and fathers, meaning they no longer control us, either by what they say or through unresolved conflicts we project onto our wives. This principle applies to more than just marriage. If we carry the wounds of old relationships into our new ones, our histories will repeat themselves, and especially in our commitment to God. We must sever all commitments that might compete for our attention and devotion. All right, let's read that one more time. But, bro, it's okay, bro. Thank you for joining. Let's read it one more time, though. Have you truly left your mother? When it comes to marriage, Jesus confirmed the teaching from Genesis. To start a new relationship right, a man must sever former ties. Leaving our mothers and fathers means they no longer control us, either by what they say or through unresolved conflicts that we project onto our wives. This principle applies to more than just marriage. If we carry the wounds of old relationships into our new ones, our histories will repeat themselves, and especially in our commitment to God. We must sever all other commitments that might commit for our attention and devotion. And now let's read Proverbs one more time. Proverbs 10:19. Too much talk leads to sin. Be sensible and keep your mouth shut. And we're gonna gather our reading today from that one right there, right? Too much talk leads to sin. Be sensible and keep your mouth shut. Let's leave it on that one, right? Why is that a good verse to leave it on today, right? Why is that a good verse to leave it on today, right? All right. So why is that a good verse to leave on today, right? So too much talking, right, can lead to you saying unnecessary things, right? Too much talking can lead to you making up stories, right? Trying to make yourself look more grandiose than what you are, which in essence is a lie, right? Too much talking can put you in a sticky situation because you overspoke. Too much talking makes it hard to listen. You can't hear nobody if you're always talking. There are plenty of ways to where too much talking can lead you astray in the wrong situation that you don't actually have to be in. So, how about you heed today's word? Too much talking is for the fools. Be smart and close your mouth. You know, be smart and close your mouth. Be smart and close your mouth. And that's okay. Not everything is meant to be said out loud. Not everything is meant for everybody. Not everything is meant for everybody to hear. You know, too much talking can make you a fool. So, let's go ahead and wrap up our stream on that one. That's a good way to end our stream. Hey, in the future, there's some things you might want to say that you don't need to say. Don't say it. There's some situations that might make you mad and you want to say something you have no business saying. Don't say it. There are situations where it's better to just monitor, observe, and listen to what's happening rather than talk. How about we listen? How about we make better decisions in the future? And how about we use our discernment and wisdom to know when is the right time to speak and when is the right time to be quiet and listen? These are all things you can ask for. So why don't you do that today? So at the end of the stream, it's time. It's time. We all got a limitless core, baby. I appreciate you. I might even love you, but I'm for sure glad you woke up today. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to take today's word too myself. Sometimes I talk too much, you know, but it's okay. You live and you learn, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and lock it up. I'm just joking. But thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining tonight's stream. I appreciate it as always. As always, I appreciate it. And thank you for the likes on the stream. I appreciate that as well. I'm going to see y'all later, possibly or maybe tomorrow. We will see. We will see. But thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again next time. Peace. Thank you for joining the core, as always.